No, let's barely do serious things. Never, barely do serious things. But yeah, well, I'll say you guys may or may not remember each other because I don't think we ever met, but you guys were both part of JIC in 20, I can't remember what year. But yeah, last, maybe the names will look familiar.
The name
Like
sounded
a
very
while
familiar,
ago.
but I just
Yeah.
assumed it wasn't the same person
No,
from like
it's
4 years ago.
the exact same person. So yeah,
Yeah.
the reunion, yeah. Reunion. But yeah, I think that was when we first met, actually. I think. But yeah, cool. Alright, welcome to the dish. We have a guest. I would introduce her shortly, but first, we'll get on with the appetizer as we usually do. So, appetizer, what is your weirdest YouTube binge? I put this.
Actually,
Yeah,
I have
I
an
don't know what
answer.
mine is. You do. I mean, everyone has.
Yeah.
Anywho, everyone has very weird YouTube binges. So yeah, go ahead.
Mine personally is watching people like restore old things, like like it could be a car, it could be like a pair of like old Jordans from like the 90s, it could be like an axe. It's just like people restoring old things and just like making them, and for some reason the whole process and everything is very satisfying to watch. And it's just like I'm not interested like in my day-to-day life in doing any of those things, but I'm just looking at it like oh, okay, so you're telling me that you spray the acid on the metal to remove the rust. That's very interesting, you know.
Fair enough. No, honestly, I remember when I was a kid, my mom and my sisters, we always used to watch Extreme Makeover Home Edition. I think that's what it was called. Did you guys ever watch that? Ever watch that show? It was
Not
literally just these
much.
guys. It was always these guys, so they would always like go to someone's house that's literally like falling apart, and then they would like send them on holiday for like a week, and then in a week they would literally like rebuild their house. Like they would tear it down and rebuild it. So yeah, we used to watch it like every Saturday. Well, not every, but
I
like
think
every
I've
now and
heard of
again.
it.
Yeah, you definitely have. Yeah, you
Yes,
definitely
I've heard
have.
of it.
Yeah. All right. Mine would either be the day, there was this day that I couldn't sleep, and it was probably like nearly midnight, and then for some reason I just had the thoughts, actually, like, how do dogs give birth? So what did I do? I went to YouTube and literally for like 30 or 40 minutes straight, I was just watching dogs give birth. And yeah, that's probably the weirdest one I've gone on. Either that or like I watch. Okay, no, this is actually. I mean, Kojo does this, but yeah, I also watch like constantly Marble sports. Basically, it sounds weird, but it's actually extremely entertaining.
After partaking in it one time, I completely see where he's coming from.
Exactly, it's extremely entertaining. It is so like it actually gives me life. Not gives me life, but like it's honestly so entertaining. I just see like no, anywho. Yeah, I sound deranged, but marble racing.
Marbles are cool as heck.
Actually top tier. Cloura, what's yours?
Well, most of these YouTube videos that we binge is mostly like in a sleepless nights when you cannot sleep, or when you just don't have anything to do on your phone but still don't want to drop the phone or something. So I think my weirdest should be like all these. I was really obsessed with these 5 minutes craft videos. I don't know why, but now if I watch it again, if I should see any clips on TikTok or something, I'll be like, why was I so addicted? What was I watching?
Yeah, it's a 5 minute craft.
Because it's like the most useless like, all these DIYs that have no use, but yeah, that was like my weirdest binge.
Fair enough. I think there was a time. There was like I remember there was a time. I don't even know why, but for some reason, like I kept getting recommended like pandas eating.
What?
I don't know why. Like literally, it took over my feed. It was just always pandas eating. I don't know why, but yeah, that was pretty satisfying. Not gonna lie. Have you ever seen a panda eat?
Mm-hmm.
No,
Yeah,
but
it's
I
like
wouldn't imagine it would be
no,
all
but
that
I don't know.
entertaining.
It's extremely entertaining. Once again, they literally they're just there and they peel it. And
It's relaxing,
you know.
actually.
Exactly,
It's relaxing.
exactly. It's very, very relaxing. It is like it's one of those weirdly satisfying things.
You're right.
Yeah. But yeah, anywho. Alright, that's the end of this appetizer. Before we continue, remember to check us out on Insta at The Dish with TBO. We have lots of Insta exclusive content on there, so be sure to head over and engage with us there. And also be sure to give us a rating on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Or if you're watching on YouTube, smash the like button and don't forget to subscribe. Alright, and now let me introduce our guest for today. Today we have a very special guest. She is how would you like to be described, actually?
Me?
Yeah, you.
Yeah.
Anyhow you want.
I'll say she's a YouTuber, she's a friend, she's a content creator. It's kind of vibe, that's the kind of vibe we're going for. She likes Javi coffee, apparently. These are things I discover. As you can tell, I very thoroughly do my research on my guests. But yeah, today our guest is Cloura Obi.
Thank you for having me.
Welcome.
Thank
No
you.
worries at all. Yeah, there's things to talk about. The first thing, which I kind of wrote down, but yeah, like things just flow. We'll just talk about whatever. But the first thing that I kind of put down, which I think will be quite interesting to talk about, because so one of this is like a series of special podcast episodes, right? And one of the more recent ones that we recorded, we talked with someone about our experiences like coming to the UK, be, different from most of the people around us and everything. Something I thought was quite interesting is for you, right? Wait, when did you move to Nigeria?
2015.
Well,
2015.
I always thought it would be quite interesting to like talk about the experience of moving to Nigeria and be different from most people around in Nigeria, because I feel like that's not an experience. It's not an experience I personally can relate to that well.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So how old were you in 2015?
I was 12. I came in
How was
December,
that?
so 12.
How was that?
It was, to be honest, I did not even know I was actually coming to Nigeria, so it felt very traumatizing. Like, where are these people carrying me to go? I didn't
I
know
just thought you were there for holiday.
Yeah.
It's not even holiday. I knew that I was leaving. I mean, I was staying in Indonesia at that time, so and I knew that I was coming for school, but I didn't know like how long I would stay there, So it was. I did not know and at that time I was this type of person that doesn't speak out. So whatever it is that I'm going through, I'll just okay. But deep down, I was really scared of what am I going to face, what am I going to experience, and all this type of stuff. But I should say, the very first thing that really shocked me when I came to Nigeria was the airport, because I've never
Bro.
You know what?
No way.
You know what?
Bro, you walked into the airport, you were like, yo, get me out of here. You were like, get me out of here.
Because the first time, when we landed, I was seeing grass, wait, is this the right place, or is this an emergency landing? Because I don't know. I was seeing grasses on the runway, and then when we come out, it just gets more confusing again and again. The whole place was hot. My phone did not find any Wi-Fi.
That all sounds about right.
No, honestly, I love it. That is one of my favorite things about Nigeria. No, honestly, I rate it though, because we don't even try to there's some places where you go and then you land and the airport is lovely, but then when you enter the actual country, it's iffy. We don't even try. We don't even try to to see people now. But it's this is how it is. No, I love Nigeria, but every time I land at that airport, I'm like, wow.
Yeah, I love it too.
Yeah.
giving Nigeria. It was like from the very beginning, like from the moment you land, you know that yes, you're in Nigeria. I
Yeah,
think
exactly.
I don't think that any other
just like
airport
this is a
have
special
crossed.
country.
I know, right?
Right.
Oh man, I genuinely
Yeah.
love Nigeria. There's no place on earth like Nigeria. So you landed at the airport, you felt the heat, you saw everything, you were like, wow. You were like, am I?
Yeah.
You're like, am I in the right place? What was the next? What was
Oh,
the
well.
next thing? What was your first like? What was the first thing you experienced in Nigeria that you were like, wow, like, oh, what is going on?
Well, there were no much differences between Indonesia and Nigeria actually. Like the weather, I did not really pay attention because Indonesia is also a tropical country, so
Yeah,
the heat and everything is the same.
yeah,
And then like the culture, like almost everything is the same. But where, as I said, I came on December, so my family and I went to the east. You know, like Ibu and December, we go travel to the village for December. So it wasn't really a surprising experience that I would say that, you know, it's something that I can remember. But the one I should say that is really an experience is when I started school, which is the following January, that's 26.
right.
That was when my eyes started opening. Because, like, the very first moment I stepped to the school, everybody would just, like, look, you know, like, because one thing about being mixed or, like, you know, biracial or something,
Yeah,
the same way you belong to both communities is also the same way you don't really belong to both of them. Like, there I may be black, I may be different skin color, and also in Nigeria, I'm this Weibo, I'm this foreign person or something like that. So it's always the attention, and people are always looking, and they're always feeling as if I'm better at everything, which is not, because I feel like they're always looking at me as if I'm prepared, so I'm some sort of, I don't know, like creature, I don't know.
yeah.
But yeah,
I feel
that
that.
is it.
I always found it very weird, actually, when I remember one of my first like experiences with the way it's a very weird way we kind of treat people that don't look like other Nigerians when we're in Nigeria, which is that I was in a shop, and I remember it was like a neighborhood store kind of place, so it was quite small basically, and then this guy like comes in, and I think he was mixed. Yeah, I think mixed was like the best way to like describe. He was mixed, and literally the way everyone like in the shop like went to him, they're like trying to help him. They're like, "Oh, do you want this?" I was like, "Bro," it was literally it was just a shop, bro. Like everyone was just shopping their stuff, man. Like leave me alone. Like I didn't understand. I found it really weird. Like what? I don't know why we do it, but yeah. Well, the times when you just have to tell people like, "Oh, leave me alone." Like actually. No,
Yeah,
but it's weird.
I learned to grow with it actually. You know, I don't really like to go outside. Maybe like I like going to the market and all that place, but what I do like the attention coming from it, because especially when you're taking public transport, you think that you don't have things, and they'll now say they'll double the price for you. They'll think that you don't know, all this type of stuff. But I actually I love Nigeria. I love being there. I love going out and stuff.
What's your favorite thing about Nigeria?
The fact
I realize that's a very hard question to answer.
Yeah.
Yeah, but one thing is the fact that it becomes a home for me so fast. Like I've never been there before, and the moment I think I only took like maybe 2-3 years to really fully adapt, and I ended up being so comfortable, and I can call it a home. Yeah, people and all.
Oh, first. Yeah. Coach, what's your favorite thing about Nigeria?
Honestly, it's hard to say.
I know, right?
Because
like, there's so many things.
Nigeria is one of those places, like, every time I'm there, all I do is complain about being there and everything going on there. But the thing is, every time I leave, I'm so excited to go back.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And for reasons that I cannot even explain. It's just something about being in Nigeria that is such a vibe.
Honestly, it is such a vibe. I think yeah, just like it's just the vibrancy in it. Like, just the, like, I don't know. I feel like the best way I can describe it to someone who hasn't been to Nigeria, you know, someone listening who hasn't been to Nigeria, is that it's like, when you're out here, life is just like normal, like you know, it's just, you know, like, it's just life. And then when you go to Nigeria, when you step foot in Lagos, it's like everything switches to HD. Like, it's so vibrant and it's so like colorful. I don't know, I just love it, man. Life is just, it's just the fact that you can just be going about your day, and you can just like, you just know that every single day something is going to happen that will make you laugh, or that will make you smile, or make you angry. It's just never boring. Yeah, exactly. You either laugh, you will smile, or maybe you will cry. I don't know, but life is never boring. Like, it's just, I think that's my favorite thing about Nigeria. Just like, there's always something happening. Like, even if you're just like driving or like driving somewhere, you just look out the window, there's something that will make you like, you just like, what? You know?
Even if you're not in Nigeria, if you're just on Twitter, like,
exactly, Lagos Twitter.
Nigerian people.
The violence and all.
Yes, Lagos Twitter, just for no reason. I know, right? Like, genuinely. People, no, Lagos Twitter is so bad. It's actually so bad. Literally, they just choose, like, every single day, someone is just existing. And then someone just, for no reason, they just choose violence. Like, what did he do to you? What did she do to you? I'm like, bro, what's going on? But oh my days. Lagos, hilarious. It's genuinely hilarious. There was this thing I saw. I was like, I'll never forget this day. And it's like, once again, I always tell people, I always struggle to explain to people why, like, on this podcast, we struggle to actually, so we can, even if like something really serious happens, we'll talk about it seriously, you know, we'll be like talking about these are the implications, stuff like that. We'll talk about it very like deeply and everything. And then after like 3 minutes, all it takes is one person to make a joke and it's done. Like, it's done. We just start making jokes about this and everything. But I genuinely think it's actually a Nigerian issue, because I remember the day the whole thing kicked off in Ukraine, and literally this was a very sad day for everyone. Everyone was like, "Oh my days, like this is really bad. Like this war, I always thinking about, oh my god, like this is terrible." And it was, and it is a very serious, and it is, and it's a very, very serious matter. But I remember seeing one tweet, and it was like, Nigeria sent a missile for Ukraine. Well done, finishing landing at our Brian said, oh my days. It was like, and that was it. That was it. Everyone just started laughing. I was like, bro. And it's just like, that's just it. Like, it's done. Everyone's just laughing now. You get what I mean? Like,
bro, this is a serious
yeah, exactly. It's a serious matter. It's an actual serious problem, and all they could do was make a joke about it. But like, that's, I don't know, man. I love Nigerians for that. I feel like we laugh at any and everything. I think that's one of my favorite things about Nigeria. So.
Right.
Like you say, if you don't laugh, you cry.
Exactly. Actually, if you don't laugh, you'll cry.
Exactly. Like, the problem is going to be there. So it's you that you choose what you do, so that you want to cry about it or you laugh about it.
Exactly. Oh my days. I remember when I saw that tweet, I was actually in tears. I was gone. I was like, bro. I think I even I can't remember whether I had a roommate or not at the time. I can't remember, but literally I was just there like dying of laughter. And if I did have a roommate, he must have been looking at me like, is this guy alright? But yeah, nah. It's lovely place. I think obviously we have lots of things to like work through. We have lots of things we can improve on, but I would hope that like even when Nigeria like improves and everything, we don't lose the things that make Nigeria, you know? Right. It's such a great experience. So you mentioned school. You mentioned like what that was like when you first arrived and everything. Where else did you like, I guess that was like your first exposure to like really like Nigerians, it's like real society, but like where else did stuff like that happen?
I wasn't really the type of person that go out actually. It's just school. And it's recently, since I graduated school last year, and I was doing like photo shoots, modeling and stuff. So I was able to like see.
Correct. Wonderful. So when I asked just hold on. So when I asked you what do you want to be described as, I even forgot to mention that you'll be doing.
I was doing Okay.
No,
So
Alasha.
that's those, and then well, I was not really exposed really because even if I'm going, I'll go with either my mom or I'll go with Uber or something. So I rarely take public transport because of that same thing I said. Like I just really don't like the attention because I'm different. Like I like to blend in and be among them, but my
that.
physical appearance just
It
just
doesn't allow
can't allow
for
it.
Doesn't allow it.
No matter how much I cover.
It doesn't allow it. You know those ads where I can't remember which one it was, but you know those ads where it's usually either perfume, cream, or toothpaste. When the person like uses it and then they're literally just walking down the road and everyone is looking at them.
Right.
That's Cloura in Lagos. Oh my days! How was like the model? I completely forgot that you did like modeling stuff. Like how was that?
It was fine. I actually like the way. Well, maybe it's because it's Nigeria, but I mean, like they really appreciate people, like especially with mix. Because I've seen like a lot of my fellow friends that are also into modeling, whether it's through videos or face modeling or in various agencies and stuff. So I really like the way like we're out there.
Yeah.
It was really nice.
Yeah. So how did it work? Did you have to like go to the what's it called? So was it like an agent? Did the agency like scout you? Did you reach out to the agency? Like what was the inner workings? So like how did it work?
The beginning of it was I saw a post on Instagram, about all this modeling class which I never attended. Though I signed up for it, I never attended it online.
Yeah.
Then from there I started viewing their stories and there was like, there is an opportunity, like you can apply as a face modeling. And I know that, my figure is I'm not really tall, so I can't apply for all these runway types. So I applied and they put me in one agency, and from there, from one makeup artist, and I started getting exposed, and from there people see me, then they will now call me and book me and stuff. So that's how it happened.
Cool.
Oh, getting booked.
Do you actually guys? Actually getting that's
somebody's popular.
The job of the agency is just like to put you out there. Once you're out there, people see you, they'll not be like booking and stuff. So
right.
Though I didn't really like the way I was there because it's like I'll say that they are not really professional about it. Because like maybe there is a job that I'm meant to do tomorrow, they will let me know today, like maybe in the evening or the night before, which is like very unreasonable because what if I have something to do?
Yeah,
I'm
exactly.
person that if I want to do something, I have to like prepare it 5 to 7 working days.
Yeah, honestly.
Doing it.
Oh
so
man.
It just did not make sense and stuff. And they just take every job, like maybe job of 2,000 naira from maybe Ikeja to Island or something. I'm like, how much is transport? How much is go to and fro? And with that 2,000 or 3,000, the agency would still have it, I think 30% cut. And so what's now my gain? All this type of stuff. Like, even though I like doing what I'm doing, but I'm doing it for something.
Yeah. So I love how when you like book something like that in Nigeria, you just have to like clear the rest of your day. Actually just clear the rest of your day, man. Yeah, exactly. It's done. Even if you're meant to have an appointment at 10 a.m. like,
you are leaving 5.
Exactly. There is no guarantee that it's actually going to start at 10 a.m. So just clear the rest of the day.
To get things done
honestly,
on time.
Honestly.
In that country.
Oh my days. I remember there was this time that I think I was going to like open a bank account or something like that. Just something that shouldn't honestly have taken that long. Yeah. I went there in the morning. I didn't leave until earlier. I didn't leave until late afternoon. I didn't leave until like 4. I was like, bro, upon all that, the account still didn't open. Like, I had to come back the next day. Like, I was like, it's one of those things again, like, honestly, it's one of those things again, like, if you don't laugh, you'll cry. Like, as I was leaving, I was just like, what type of, like, what's going on? But Shasha, it is well. And you don't want to, like, impose yourself too much because, like, obviously I try, you're like, you want to be, the thing is, you have to be kind of forceful, like in Nigeria, or else, like, things will just
you get taken advantage of.
Yeah, but at the same time, you don't actually want to, like, there's a line to cross. You get what I mean? Like, you don't want to like, start skipping and stuff like that. Like, yeah, to me, that's just that's not my cup of tea personally. You know, but like, you do try your best to within legal boundaries, like impose yourself as much as possible. But yeah, I love that face. That is hilarious. Talk about just like the modeling industry and everything, because I don't know what it was like for the people you worked with, but I think it's when you think about like industries, business areas, stuff like that, like you hear a lot about like the impact it can have on people and stuff like that. I think modeling is probably up there with apparently some of the worst share in terms of what it can do to a person, what it can do to their perception of like how they have to be, or like how they can like instruct you to be sometimes, and just like very controlling of like your life and your appearance basically. So I don't know how it was with yours. Have you ever been in a situation where, you know, maybe a comment was made or something and you just thought, nah, this ain't the one?
It's not really comments, but rather like what they want me. Okay, so the ones I did were mostly like makeup modeling, you know, like face modeling and stuff.
Yeah.
Sometimes it can lead to like, you know, outfits, like, but most of the time it's just face, like the torso part,
Yeah.
you know, for all these makeup artists on Instagram and stuff. So
Yeah.
there was a time where I think it was Valentine's Day content they were trying to do. And then this makeup artist like wanted me to, I should wear something sexy. And I'm the type of person that's really, really so conserved. Like, and on top of the fact that I'm also practicing modesty, you know, it's one of the Christian values.
Yeah.
And I was like, because I was like, okay, I'll try and get something. So I wore one of my tops when I feel that it can be sexy enough, which I'm still comfortable in, you know. And I get where she's coming from. I mean, she's trying to make Valentine's Day content, you know, something hot, something spicy, maybe she wants for her feed. So when I came and she now said, "Oh, is this the clothes you're wearing?" I said, "Yes." She said, so does this look sexy to your eyes? And I'm like, yes. So she ended up like telling me to change. She actually had like something in the studio that I can change into, and when I did, I really wasn't feeling a little bit of comfort, you know, like I felt exposed because, and I mean, I'm already there too, so it's not as if I can just go back, you know, home and say, no, I'm not doing this anymore, because I mean, she's also busy. She has like other bookings, she has other appointments to do, you know, so if I should just cancel and stuff, it's going to be, it doesn't sound right, you know? So I just had to go through with it, and even though I was not feeling comfortable, I just had to, but really it was uncomfortable for me. That's just it.
That's crazy. So that's that's crazy. How old were you at the time?
It was just last year.
Oh,
was it last year? Yeah, it was last year.
Wow, that is crazy.
Wait, just to mention, you were 18, right? Okay.
No, honestly, if you're a child of mistake, but yeah, no, I think it's a wild one with modeling. The kinds of things you hear, the kinds of like, it's a crazy one. I think obviously the most annoying thing is like, so obviously certain people of certain, like, there are certain models, right, who like, if there's something they're not comfortable with, they're like, frankly, either you change the outfit or I'm not doing it. And obviously they can get away with it because they have the prestige to do so, whatever.
Yeah.
But for everyone else, it's like, you know, it's crazy. And for everyone else, it's a bit mad. And then you have to, it's wild because to get to that level of prestige, you have to kind of just supposedly just like, okay, like, you know, like you said, you just go through with it, you know, so to speak. So it's a wild one. It's a very, very wild one to deal with. But yeah, I mean, sorry I had to go through that, but should have done that. I don't understand, like, why didn't they communicate what the outfit was going to be ahead of time? You know what I mean?
Exactly, like, maybe she thought that I'll come with what she expects me to come in, you know?
Yeah,
but
maybe.
That's it.
Yeah, maybe because you also, like you said, you also like normally do like just makeup, like stuff like that. So maybe it was like this
Exactly. Yeah.
communication kind of vibe.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, you mentioned some values, Christian values. I think that's the next thing we'll get to talk about. Let's talk about faith because we all love it. I personally do. And obviously, and I think I watched, because we mentioned your YouTube as well. I watched your testimony. I can't remember when. I think maybe earlier this year. I can't remember when you uploaded it, but yeah, I think I watched it earlier this year. But yeah, how did for the benefit of listeners, how did this happen? How did you become a Christian?
It was the main reason I became a Christian. Like, it was because I came to Nigeria, because I was a Muslim before, like since I was born till I left Indonesia, I was a Muslim. So, well, even though when I was there, I knew Christian. I knew like there's a religion out there that's Christian. I was aware of Jesus and everything, because I think on my third and fourth grade, I went to like this one international school. So there were a lot of people with different religions, and Indonesia, I think they have 6 religions. Christian, Catholics, Muslim, Hindu, Buddha, and I think one Chinese religion. So there were a lot of diversities. And that was when I started getting exposed to Christianity, because during religious classes, all of us would go to like our various classes with our teachers I mean, if you're a Muslim, you go to this class. If you're a Christian, you go to this class and stuff. So I've been having encounters ever since I was a child, but I don't know what it was, because one thing I would say that I feel us Christians that we need to improve on is to actually represent God for who He is and not for what we think He is. Like when I was in Indonesia, I used to see Christians, these are the people that can eat pork. These are the people that can wear anything they like. These are the people that can say anything they like. Because, in Islam, they are not allowed to eat pork. They are not allowed to touch dogs, and they always have to cover up themselves and stuff. And I used to see Christianity as they're everything opposite what I believe in. But as I got to know Christ and everything, it turns out that all of it are like false. Is the people that are misrepresenting Christ, misrepresenting the word of God due to their own like desires or their own values and everything. So that's it. But yeah, I came to know Christ since I came to Nigeria. To be honest, when I first started going to church, I was making like a lot of excuse not to be there. Like even if my parents forced me to go there, I would just make up excuse. Maybe I'm sick or something. Because there was a time one relative of mine in Indonesia told me before I left from Nigeria that I shouldn't be involved in anything Christianity. Like even if you go to church, like even if you smell church, you should not even come close. But I'm like, how will I do it? Like how will I do it? Because I'm living with like my dad and everybody go to church on a Sunday. So how will I say that?
Yeah, I don't want to go.
Yeah. So the excuse I made was like I was sick and stuff. But I felt that the more I resisted, the more I make excuses, is the more I was drawn into him. So yeah, how I knew of him is because of my friends. It's my friend Tokun, you know her, right?
Yeah.
Like, I just through her.
That's how we met.
Actually, right?
Yeah. It was through. Yeah, that's how we met.
So it's through her. I mean, she came to know Christ earlier before me, and ever since then, I feel that she just did not give up to like call me into the whole journey with her and stuff.
Yeah. It was great.
That was how
This is great.
It's a whole story.
It's a whole thing. Yeah, I'll put the link. I'll put the link to your testimony like in the description so people can go and watch it for themselves. But yeah, no, honestly, I think the thing you said about people misrepresent, like people have all sorts of like false ideas about Christianity, and it's actually because of people like misrepresenting Christ. And I think obviously on this podcast, we've generally just done a good job of talking about whatever is dear to our heart at that time. I think something that is dear to my heart right now is how people may get the wrong idea of things because they've had a wrong experience through someone. But I always tell people you always kind of have to. It sounds mad, but you have to discover things for yourself. You know, you can't don't let a person, a human being, like put you off something that is about so much more than them. You know, I just think generally, man, there's a lot. There's a lot, you know, into it. You know, you could go into it for days. But honestly, trying to do it in like just one podcast episode is crazy. But I think I always tell people I genuinely have beef with the church. Like, I do. I have beef with the church, and it sounds crazy because like people are always like, "What do you mean you have beef with the church?" Like, whatever. But I do. Like, I just do. Like you said, I think like to what you were trying to communicate about, like a lot of the churches being more focused on like the picture of things as opposed to the actual investing in people's relationships with God.
Right.
I think with the way something that always comes up whenever, you know, there's a discussion about like the way Nigeria is or whatever, and people always say, you would think that, you know, Nigeria that has so many like prominent Christians, has so many like prominent churches or whatever, you know, you would think that's, you know, a lot of people that have that kind of stance. And I'm always like, well, would you really? Because I think that sadly, a lot of churches are more focused on, number one, the picture of things, like making everything appear to be right, as opposed to actually bringing people closer to God. I think, and it's a weird thing that also with supposed men of God or whatever, in Nigeria we still love that term, a man of God or whatever. It's such. I mean, anywho, let me not go into that, Sha. But I think that it's weird how it's almost like for a lot of people when you talk to people, when you talk about, you know, the way they figure out the way they articulate, that's the word I'm looking for, their faith. It's more so through a person that is a man in front of them, as opposed to through Jesus, which is what it's meant to be, you know. And it's weird to be there, like it's always weird for me to say this as I'm me. Like at the end of the day, I'm 18. I'm just living life, bro. I'm just trying to do whatever I think is right. And at the end of the day, whenever you like raise, if you even try and raise these things in church, they say like what? It's like paganism. It's like they were actually, I'll sound like a pagan, bro. I would actually sound like a pagan. They were like, what is this boy trying to do? You know what I mean? But I don't know. It's a weird one. I think the thing you said about finding Christianity like outside of the church, I don't think it's no coincidence that is a lot of people's experience. You know, I remember.
Exactly.
Yeah,
a church
it's
is
no
meant to be
coincidence.
like a safe space, because if it's not the church, then we'll have to go and find somewhere else. Which is, if it's not the church, then it's the world.
Yeah.
And I feel that's where we're missing the whole point, because we, like me, I mean, I'm not perfect. Like, I'm sure that in one point or another in my life, like, I've also condemned other people. But I've started learning that these people are going through things that you might have gone through too, like, or even worse. So they're like, there's no need that if they're talking about something they're going through, like, you condemn them, instead that you correct them with love, you know.
Yeah.
That's what the church is for, not to like condemn and make it feel like, oh, you can't talk about this subject or this topic in church because it doesn't belong here. Okay, so what belongs to the church?
Exactly.
It's meant to be a safe space where you can vent and to prove that yes, that you are a human, that you make mistakes, and that is where Christ comes in, the perfect being, you know. So I feel like we're getting the whole idea upside down.
Yeah, I think that's it right there. I think it's, for me, it's just with obviously, and you know, when I say the church, like not all churches, obviously you go to some place and you're like, oh, that's pleasant, but I think the main thing for me, not the main thing, but one of the things, like you mentioned, is there's just a whole lot of performance involved, which I don't subscribe to, and I don't really get it. Like, I just don't really get it. The way I figure out and articulate my own faith, my own relationship with God, does not align with the whole performance that happens in a lot of Nigerian churches. And I think I think it's very weird that, like, you can't like, oh man, even like to criticize, you know what I mean? Like it's long if for example someone watches this and it like what's like it gets techie if somehow, I don't know, like someone sees it and then it becomes a whole thing of like, oh my god, like imagine like someone goes to my dad and they're like, I see what your son is saying, like that kind of thing.
This
like,
could very easily be like taken the wrong way.
Yeah, exactly. Like obviously my dad knows that my dad knows I'm a Christian, like he knows I'm a whatever. The weird thing is there are a lot of people who are thinking the exact same thing, but they just can't say it. Like they can't articulate it. They can't like whatever because they're so like, where do you even start? Like, bro, imagine
like,
being
the
like,
Nigerian church is not the
yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
Like what? Imagine it's actually crazy. Imagine being in church and actually like, yeah, this doesn't make sense to me. Everyone's just looking at you like you're one kind of pagan. You get what I mean? Like,
Right.
I'd rather
What do you
not
mean it doesn't
personally.
make sense?
Exactly.
Must be
I
fair.
honestly would rather not. I would rather. When I say I would rather not, I obviously whenever I'm in Nigeria, I with my family I go to church and everything. But like too often does something happen, or too often someone says something that it just makes me cringe. Like it makes my skin crawl. I'm like, oh, that's weird. Like I don't know. And yeah, want to actually think, they're like, tell me what do you mean, like, but I'm like, no man, this ain't it. This is just not it. I just think for each person you have to, if your experience of Christianity is actually from a Nigerian church, chances are you'll get the wrong ideas. The chances are, that's what the chances are, honestly.
I have an experience on that too, because like ever since I came to Nigeria, started going to church and all, I think I was 15. I started hearing, okay, there's something that's called giving your life to Christ. Like, there's something called born again, being a new creation in Christ. And I was really interested. Like, they're always preaching in church, like, that you should repent, that give your life to Christ and everything else. And I was like, okay, I can count the number of times that I make that decision and fall back, because one thing that about this church is like, they will tell you to repent, but they will not tell you like the practical steps to do it. Like, okay, now I want to give my life to Christ. What should I do? They just be like, just repent and read your word and do prayers. That is actually more practical than that, because journey with God is a progression, is growth. It's not something that just happens overnight. Like once you have done this process, you are clean.
Facts.
It's not possible.
Facts.
So like, I think I made the decision like 3 or 4 times, and I just like, but this is not working. So what am I?
Absolutely.
So I just kind of like put that aside, and I'm like,
honestly, I think one thing I would say with regards to that is, honestly, you can't figure out your salvation because of fear. I have always been of this opinion. You cannot figure out. Salvation is about accepting the love of Christ and hence what he did for you. Not, oh my days, I'm so scared to go to hell, like whatever. You get what I mean? Like, I don't think it is possible to figure out your salvation because of fear. Now, are there people who it has worked for, whatever? Probably, yeah. You'll probably point, like someone will probably listen to this and say, oh, but this person, became a Christian because of this or because of fear or whatever. Fair enough. But I also think that, like, it's no coincidence that in a lot of these places where, it's more, like you said, based on fear and stuff like that, there are so many things going on that they actually just, like, sweep under the carpet and stuff like that. And it's actually wild. Like, some of the times that you hear the things that are happening, you're like, huh? Like, and that is why whenever it comes out, oh, this priest did this pastor did this, or whatever. People, and then we're all just there looking like red-faced. And literally the world is always just mocking us, like, oh my God, like these guys are actually clueless. And yeah, they have every right to, because I don't understand, how can you like claim to be the ones about love, be the ones about, all of this, and you have all these atrocities going on. And sometimes people know, but like we said, like they don't even know where to start in terms of calling it out, in terms of like, like it's just, I don't know, man. It's crazy to me, because there are actually all sorts of things that happen that we don't know, that we don't hear about. And it's only the ones that get reported that you then hear and you say, this was going on. But yeah, it's going on, and there's lots more going on that we don't know about. I just think it's no coincidence. I think you can't figure out your salvation out of fear, man. It has to be out. If you figure out your salvation because of fear, then last, yeah, you would maybe give your life out of fear, and then you carry on doing whatever you want. I feel like you have to actually want because of acceptance of the love of Christ, and because of out of the overflow of your own love for God, because you have, that's where obedience flows out of, in my opinion. But yeah, this just turned into a calling us to church episode. Honestly, the whole episode turned into a calling us to church episode.
This is just one of those things that it's something that needed to be addressed at some point.
I genuinely think so. Yeah, I've always had plans of just like, there's a lot that needs to be figured out. There's a lot that needs to be said. And if no one is going to say it, then I don't mind saying it. Like, you know what I mean? I was going to exposing myself, but you know how I wrote Musings of a Sane Man, which was it was a anthropology of short stories and poems. There was meant to be a poem in it called Church Service, which was basically meant to articulate everything that we've talked about, which was basically about like the shortcomings of the church and everything. And then I just thought about it. I was like, it's now really the time. Like, obviously, I feel like I generally try to avoid when my actions can affect other people apart from me. And I feel like I think a lot about, especially with just the way like Nigerian society is, I think a lot about, okay, how is this going to affect, for example, like my parents? Because it will now become a thing of, oh my days, did you see what that boy did? Like what that boy said, what that boy wrote? And then it will be, it will fall on my parents' head.
And
there's just no need for that. Yeah, exactly. You get what I mean? Which is weird. Like, because everyone that knows me knows that I'm a Christian. Like, it's weird. Like, every single person that knows me, you can't know me without knowing that I'm a Christian. So I think it's weird that I know that by saying these things, people will actually take issue with it, and people like, all sorts of things. But that's not actually the problem. Like, I don't see how it's not flowing out of oh my days. Like I said, I'm a pagan or whatever. Like, no, it's not flowing out of that. It's flowing out of just, I believe the church can do a whole lot better. That is what I believe. And so I just wish. Yeah, I just wish, man. I think there's a lot more to be done about it, Sha. But no, one day, maybe the day that I'm convinced and I'm sure that my parents will not suffer for it, I'll talk about it. But yeah. But faith's a beautiful thing, Relationship with God is a beautiful thing. I'll just tell. I think we've kind of flown into the dessert a bit, which is I feel like this has happened increasingly over the last couple of episodes. We just sips into the dessert, but I think I think I'll ask Cloura, what is, in the space since you've become a Christian, what is your best, what do you love most? Which is, again, a very hard question, but when you think about your faith, what is the one thing that, you think about and you say, yes, this means a lot to me?
Well, there are a lot of things that just come to one.
Yeah, that is a very hard question. I recognize that. What about you, Kojo?
But if there is one thing that I really value more is the way I don't overthink things anymore. Like I was this person that overthink. Like, I worry out of something, as if like if you actually worry about the problem, it will solve itself. Then it will be peaceful.
Yeah.
Like I overthink with that. Like, my thoughts are always running. Like, there's always something on my mind, thinking about something that myself that I would not even know that I'm actually overthinking about stuff. But recently, like since I started being with Christ, I find my life to be much more peaceful. Like, if there is anything bothering me, I'll just like, God, see, this whole thing is happening to me. I don't know how you do it, but you just take care of it, and that is all. And I found my mind to always be at peace. And actually, overthinking can affect you physically too.
Absolutely.
So I've just been so I don't know, it's just so peaceful. Like there's
Mm,
nothing going on. Like, I mean, yes, there'll be problems, there'll be issues and struggles to
definitely. Yeah.
overcoming, but I know that
Yeah.
I can always take it up to God and He will carry all these burdens and all my
Yeah.
burdens carry, and
Yeah.
I'll just be free. That's it.
Mm.
Just be so peaceful.
What about you, Kojo?
It's like my point is kind of very similar to
Mm.
Cloura's point, but I think the biggest part of like my faith is just the peace of mind that comes with
Mm.
this, if that makes sense. Just
Yeah.
because I know, like, as long as God is there, like, basically none of my well, I don't want to say none of my problems are real, but like,
Mm.
I know everything will be temporary. Like, I
Mm.
know, and I hate to phrase it like this because I just make it sound like God is a problem solver. It's
Mm.
not just a problem solver. He will solve your problems,
Mm.
but I mean, just I know that there's nothing I cannot do without God, basically.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I know there's nothing that I cannot get through without God. Because there have been times where like I've been feeling like seriously stressed, like seriously pressured. And like I go to my mom and I say like my mom has probably been like my guiding compass like throughout most of my life for my faith. And she's just like, don't worry, just take it to God. And He will handle it. And it has been handled quite
Mm.
consistently.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. No, honestly, that is so true. You think about whatever's going on. Just I spoke with this about I spoke about this with a friend literally just yesterday about how like life gets a lot, and we're all here like literally for
Mm-hmm.
all of us. I feel like generally, especially 2003, 04, 04, 03, 04, 05 kids, we're all here. We're all just thinking, I was 11 like yesterday. Like, why is life like, why is life looking life in right now? You get what I mean? Like, why am I actually having to think about like, oh my days, you think, oh, I need to cook, I need to do this, I need to do that, like whatever. Life is literally just happening while actually attacking, uni and stuff like that. Obviously not all with 5 kids are, in uni, but some with 5 kids are in uni. So others are thinking about applying to uni. But yeah, life is just getting so real. I think like, yeah, with God, it's just like, also, I was telling my friend yesterday, I was like, yeah, but I have peace of mind, Sha. You get what I mean? And that's the most important thing. I'll say for me, whenever I think about my faith, and I guess this is where we'll end the episode. I said because again, like I said, this is not a Christian podcast, because we talk about a lot of things on this podcast, but we talk about whatever is close, like to our hearts. And my faith is very, very important to me. It's the most important thing in my life. And the best thing that I consistently kind of single out with my faith is that it's not about me, like if it was up to me, if it was like, if salvation was because of me, was because of what I do, what I've done, whatever, it will be kind of long. It will be kind of mad. Like, I don't think I will be saved, bro. You know what I mean? Like, it would actually be long. But it's just the fact that you consistently look back and God at every point in time is always like, it's just always there. It's just always, like just in spite of everything, the fact that I say is just believe, in Jesus and you're saved. And then you just continue to walk, on the journey, you continue to walk through life with him. And despite whenever, you may mess up and you may think, oh my days, like God is going to hate me, but he doesn't. And he's just there, like, he's just there to pick you up and you just keep going. It's such a beautiful, beautiful thing. And I think, yeah, peace, grace, love, mercy, everything about it is top tier. And I encourage, if you're a listener who is not a Christian, who has somehow come this far in the episode, I don't know, because I feel like if you were a Christian, you would have clicked off a long time ago. But if you're somehow still listening, I always encourage people, with everything we've talked about, with the failings of the church, we're not just rambling about the failings of the church just to hate or whatever. Like, no, that's not the point. I just think it is so important for you to seek and discover for yourself what the faith is about. Because if you're depending on another person or on another institution to do it for you, it may not work. Like that's all we're saying. It may not work. Obviously, like Kojo talked about his mom being a guiding compass for him. You'll always have those people. There would always be people who would help you out. There would always be, and that, but stuff like that. But I think it's so important for you to seek and discover for yourself what the faith is about. And I promise you that once you do, you would find something quite beautiful. I really think you would do. Thank you so much for listening to The Dish, and see you next time.